be told that things are getting better and Michigan is turning the corner. We'll be told that jobs are flowing into the state, that our schools are improving, and that from Menominee to Monroe, everyone is doing better. And we'll hear that the relentless actions taken by the legislature over the last 2 years contributed directly to improving our state. Is Michigan today more like the state we're all proud of, the Michigan of pure water, miles of inviting beach, and vibrant communities? Or has our state become polluted by partisan politicians who have pushed an extremist agenda on our kids, our families, and our seniors? The truth is, all is not well in the state of Michigan. Over the past 2 years, this state has given corporations almost $2 billion in tax breaks, and families like yours have had to pick up the tab. Tax credits and deductions that middle-class families depend on, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit and Homestead Property Tax Exemption Credit, have been dramatically reduced, and many families no longer qualify for them. The $600 per child tax deduction is gone, as is the deduction for charitable giving. Our seniors, most already living on modest fixed incomes, have been slapped with a new tax on their retirement income. The governor supposedly asked families to make this sacrifice because the tax breaks that he handed out to special interests and corporations were supposed to generate a hiring boom. That simply has not happened. Our state still has one of the highest unemployment rates in the country, 8.9% here in Michigan, compared to 7.7% nationwide as of November, the most recent month for which statistics are available. Corporations are enjoying the largest tax break in Michigan history, while families, saddled with a huge tax increase, have been forced to watch their spending more closely than ever and to make careful choices between buying school supplies for their kids and putting gasoline in their cars. Building on his lousy track record regarding jobs, the governor then turned around and claimed that we had to undercut workplace rights in order to draw jobs to our state. Scheming behind closed doors with Republican-led legislature, Governor Rick Snyder ran through sweeping changes to collective bargaining rights in Michigan, including the so-called right-to-work legislation. He forced these changes on people, even though evidence shows that undermining collective bargaining rights lowers wages for union and non-union workers alike, increases workplace injuries, and widens the disparity in earning between men and women for the same jobs. The governor did this after repeatedly saying that it was not on his agenda because it was too extreme for Michigan. Well over 10,000 people showed up in freezing weather to tell the governor that this isn't the Michigan we want. The governor and his extremist legislative buddies refused to listen. In fact, they were so intent on ignoring the voices of Michigan residents that they closed down the Capitol. They refused to hold even a single committee hearing where people could tell legislators what they thought of lowering wages and gutting benefits. Then, to further insulate themselves against the will of the people, Republicans passed laws making it harder to recall politicians. With that protection in place, look forward to Republicans pushing ever more extreme social agenda issues and items on the people of this great state. Next, they're again going to attempt to voucherize our schools, a new variation on a plan voters have rejected twice, taking millions out of our local public schools and giving it to for-profit, corporate-run schools. This comes on top of nearly $2 billion they've already taken out of our schools. So far, this massive defunding of education has resulted in shuttered schools, large-scale teacher layoffs, drastic cuts in school buses, and increased class sizes. Some classrooms lack even the most basic school supplies, such as textbooks. And what they've done to our schools, Republicans now want to do to our communities. Last month, in the small hours of the morning, they passed another massive corporate tax giveaway, eliminating $600 million in local revenue that would otherwise go to cities and townships. And they did so without a plan to fully replace that revenue. This latest corporate tax giveaway saps vital funding from our local communities that is used to pay police officers and firefighters. Those same funds repair roads riddled with potholes and remove snow from your streets. Now that money simply won't be there, and your community will be forced to cut vital services. But the extremist reinvention of Michigan doesn't stop there. Already, Republicans have passed sweeping new attacks on women's health. They've disregarded the will of the people and reinstated the emergency manager law that voters just recently overturned 2 months ago. From our roads to our schools, from our workplaces to our homes, Michiganders are feeling the effects of this governor's broken promises. The governor promised us more jobs. Instead, our state unemployment rate is higher than the rest of the nation, and the size of our labor force has shrunk by 30,000 people since the governor took office. The only area where we've seen job growth is in the automotive industry, which has everything to do with the federal assistance to the auto industry and domestic automakers, and nothing to do with this governor's policies. This governor promised us prosperity. Why then are 25% of Michigan's children living in poverty, a significant increase from 2010? This governor promised us better health for our children, but fewer children are now getting immunized than when the governor took office. He promised us safer communities, but there are now fewer police per capita in the state of Michigan than there were when he took office. And the number of police officers is likely to fall yet again, given the huge revenue cuts that this governor and Republican legislators have imposed on our local cities and townships. The people of Michigan have heard too many of the governor's promises, and they've seen too many of them broken. So as you get ready to hear the governor's latest slate of promises tomorrow, it's important to separate fact from fiction. Michiganders know the facts all too well. You know exactly how the state and its people are doing every time you sit down to plan your family's budget. You know how you're doing when you learn that your kid's school is about to be closed, or that your child's favorite teacher has been laid off. And soon, as you prepare your state income tax returns, you'll learn that this governor and legislative Republicans have increased your taxes dramatically. The people of Michigan understand exactly what Republicans have done in terms of cuts to education and higher taxes on middle-class families, all in order to give massive tax breaks to corporations and special interests. The people of Michigan have heard enough empty promises from politicians already and don't need to hear any more. The fact is, for the last 2 years, seniors, middle-class families, and our kids have been cut out, stepped on, and run over by Governor Snyder and the Republicans' corporate agenda. Democrats believe that what the people of Michigan really want is to be heard for a change. I hear you. And that's why I'm announcing today that the Michigan House Democrats will hold a listening tour around the state of Michigan. Beginning in February, we'll be coming to cities and small towns throughout the state to listen to you. Middle-class families, teachers, students, seniors, firefighters, and public safety officers. We want to know exactly how the governor's extremist agenda has impacted you over the past 2 years. We want to know what these drastic and extreme changes to your schools and communities have meant to you and your family. We understand that now, more than ever, you're concerned about the safety of your kids when you send them off to school. We know that you, the people of our great state, have ideas about how to solve these problems, and we want to hear from you. And once we hear from you, We want to work with you on solutions that will transform our state into one that reflects the values and needs of its people, not one that caters to the governor's wish list of corporate special interests. We will be announcing the dates and places of the tour soon, and we expect to get underway next month. We look forward to listening to as many people as possible. Your voices have been silenced too long. Thank you for being here, and I will take any questions that you may have.